Is this a new arena mode? It feels like it, where multiple ships fight over one beacon. Even though it's not a separate one like the original arena, it shares numerous features with the second iteration of arena. And not only that, this also feels like it's inspired by Skull and Bones' legendary map mode, an opt-in PvP mode that only allows you to fight if you acquire that map. This is why I think it will be excellent for PvPers. However, I'm still worried about one thing that we'll get to later that might also kill this mode. Yes, kill it, as Rare made this mistake several times before. Let's discuss the Skull of Siren Song Ghost Quest coming as a part of Season 10, what we know so far, and what might be also the end of it. Special thanks to my Patreon supporters. Phuzzy here, sit back, relax, and enjoy. Let's start by showing how this PvP mode works. The Skull of Siren Song appears randomly throughout your Sea of Thieves session. When it becomes active, a ghostly note seems to be pinned into the mast of your ship, indicating the event's availability. Any crew can interact with the ghostly note on their ship's mast, opting their crew into the event. Once a crew opts in to the Skull of Siren Song event, they are made aware that every other crew in the server can see the same event, and they become potential rivals. And now you have several ships racing over the treasure. Great. As soon as you interact with it, I would assume, like voting for a voyage, each crew that opts in receives two maps, one leading to a key and the other to a chest. Both are visible on the world map like a Reaper chest. These maps guide them to different locations on the map. The crews must locate and dig up both the key and the chest, and once you use the key to open the chest, you will obtain the Skull of Siren Song. This skull can also be used as a weapon similar to the Ashen Wind Skull. However, I feel like this is entirely useless, as every time someone had a trident or a skull, they were dead before even attempting to shoot. Unless it's against PvE, I do not recommend using it as a weapon. Regardless, the Siren Song skull has a curse that slows down your ship, so no running is possible since every other ship will be faster than you. And of course, you still have to open the chest as soon as you get it, as only then will it reveal the final location to deliver the Skull of Siren, and it will be random each time. Similar to the legendary map mode in Skull and Bones, an icon appears on the map and only when you pick it up does the final destination appear, and you must deliver it before getting caught by rivals. And of course, this whole ghostly quest by Phuzzy will only be available in the high seas. Now that we know how it works, let's discuss the history of Sea of Thieves and why I'm already worried about the future of this mode. The Reaper chest back in the day was introduced right after Arena, as once Arena was introduced, there was virtually zero PvP in Adventure. With that, Rare introduced the Reaper chest to Adventure to bring back PvP, a beacon that appears on the map for everyone to fight over. Over time, no updates were made, very few, interest dropped, and now you rarely see anyone racing to that chest. Even though it still appears on the map and you see it moving if someone picks it up, almost no threat exists. Adding to that is another reason. Back then, it was also a random occurrence and hard to get. We had commendations to fulfill, and everyone wanted that. Later, it was added to Skeleton Captain voyages and Fort of the Damned. And to add even more fuel to the fire, by bringing the Skull of Destiny, stacking these Reaper chests is now easier than finding castaways. As mentioned in my previous video, Rare always tends to add more of something once they realize it's working, dropping its value. But sometimes less is more. Even the Chest of Legends back in the day was something to fight over. Now it's just referred to as the funny blue chest, because if you steal it, who cares? It's faster for me to get another one than chase you for it. Similar to that, the first iteration of Arena was loaded and impressive. Still, once, some issues happened in Twitch Rivals where players would scuttle and spawn after taking the resources from barrels to double up their initial supplies. Instead of Rare dropping the ship score to the negative as a punishment, they bring Arena 2.0, where supplies are abundant on spawn, introducing the spam festival many crews are now used to. Over time, Arena 2.0 became tedious, lacking strategy and teamwork, and eventually dominated by TDM crews minding their own business on skull forts, causing fewer ships to opt in into the fight, fading it to black. And now, similar to that, Hourglass mode. It started amazing. Then modifications were made, and it became just two ships endlessly circling each other. Cheaters drove players away, and the usual Dorito dwellers lacking sportsmanship calling your mom names. As you can see, not so many people play it. No updates to cause people to return to it, while it slowly fades to black. Every single PvP mode that was added to the game ended up with the same exact fate. So here's what I recommend to keep this one alive, and it's simple. Rare, please do not make the Skull of Siren Song an easy item to acquire in the future, as this already happened with every single thing that was supposed to be rare in the past to promote PvP. Not even through special events. In addition, keep it hot. Give us reasons to return to it regularly once we unlock all commendations and cosmetics. Thank you for your time. Happy sailing.